What's up, everybody? Mark with Coffee&Toys here. It is Friday. I hope you guys are all ready for a fun and relaxing weekend. I myself am excited because we've got a new comic to review today on Friday Comics. And yeah, it's been a little bit, but today we will be reviewing what came out actually last Saturday for Free Comic Book Day. Yeah, did you actually go to Free Comic Book Day? I myself didn't get a chance to actually go and personally pick up my copy, but I was fortunate enough to have someone that was able to hold me a copy of it, and I was able to read it this week. And that comic we will be reviewing today is the Energon Universe Special Number 1. That's right, let's jump right into it. Now, before we jump into this review, you like coffee. The channel's called Coffee&Toys. We should probably talk about coffee a little bit. And today, from coffeebrandcoffee.com, that's right, coffeebrandcoffee.com, I am drinking their blueberry cobbler. And I'm going to tell you right now, I'm not a huge fan of flavored coffees, but I do like blueberry. It's one of my favorite fruits, kind of desserty kind of things, if you want to look at it that way. And every time I brew a cup of their blueberry cobbler, if nothing else, I love it for the smell, but it's actually really good tasting too. It's very blueberry. I like it a lot. And yeah, you can get flavored coffees at coffeebrandcoffee.com. So if you're interested, make sure you check out the affiliate link down below and or use the promo code Coffee&Toys. That's COFFEENTOYS. Save yourself 5% on your first purchase and your second purchase and your third purchase, however many. You always save 5% using that promo code or the link below. It helps out me and the channel, and you support a great American business. You like coffee? They have it for you, and lots of different flavors, flavored coffees, regular dark roast, light roast, double caffeinated, and then they have nuts and candies and kettle corn. I actually just picked up some kettle corn for my wife, and yeah, fantastic options at coffeebrandcoffee.com. Now, with all that being said, if you're new to the channel, welcome. My name is Mark. I'm with Coffee&Toys, and on Fridays we review new comics. And like I said, today we will be reviewing that Free Comic Book Day Energon Universe Special Number 1. Now, this comic is actually broken into 3 different stories. We have a Transformers story, we have a Energon Universe, a Void Rivals story, and a G.I. Joe story. So as I talk about the comic today, it'll be broken into 3 different sections to talk about each particular one of those series, because each one is its own series within the Skybound Entertainment Image Comics Energon Universe. So with that being said, let's just jump right into it. Free Comic Book Day 2024 Energon Universe Special Number 1 Transformers is written by Daniel Warren Johnson, artist Ryan Ottley, and colorist Annalisa Leone. And with that said, we start the issue off with an epic battle between the Autobots and Decepticons. You know that battle, I know that battle. It's been raging for millennia. And they are in space, it seems like, and we get to see, we start the issue out hot. Megatron is, putting down the Autobots, and he, at the same time, is at point blank range blowing a hole through Brawn as Optimus watches on. And Optimus then attacks Megatron, and we get this beautiful 2-page spread of the classic Optimus versus Megatron, what you've always thought when you always think about them fighting. Beautiful 2-page spread, looks wonderful. And Megatron's got the upper hand until Optimus uses his Energon axe to cut off Megatron's right arm. We then find out that they are actually fighting on the Ark. They are in space, and Optimus kicks Megatron away, and Megatron falls to the back of the Ark, which its bay door is open, and he manages to latch on with his left arm, and he's hanging on for dear life. As he's hanging on, the ever-opportunist Starscream sees Megatron, says something to the effect of, "Let me ease the burden of leadership for you," and opens fire on Megatron, shooting him, making him lose his grip, and Megatron falls out of the Ark into the colds of space and gets pulled down into Earth's gravitational pull. And we see Megatron suddenly awake from this nightmare or this memory and screaming, "Starscream!" And we find now a completely armless Megatron back in the science lab of Cobra Law. Yes, if you followed my reviews for the Cobra Commander miniseries, you know that Cobra Law, and specifically Cobra Commander, found Megatron and has been harvesting his energy for use for the glory of Cobra Law. And that Cobra Law does not like having this inorganic mechanization inside their kingdom. But Cobra Commander has been working on him, stealing his energy, learning more about him, and now we know that Megatron is there, missing his arms, but Megatron now is angry, and he begins tearing himself free of his what is keeping him tied down, and there are two Cobra Law scientists there that start freaking out. They panic, and Megatron basically smashes them underneath his foot, killing one, injuring the other. The Cobra Law scientist says, "Please don't kill me, I have children." And Megatron says, "Show me where my limbs are." And the Cobra Law scientist points to this large door and says, "They're in there." And surprisingly, Megatron says, "Very good, I'll let you live," which kind of shocked me. And Megatron goes in, recovers one of his limbs, begins grafting it back to his body with his remaining Energon reserves as Globulus and the Royal Guard show up. Globulus is screaming at Megatron saying, "You are an inorganic abomination," and he yells, "You still belong to me," which draws the ire of Megatron. And Megatron screams back, "I belong to no one," as he turns on his Energon mace and smashes it through the large organic pod / reptile looking thing that Globulus is setting in. Globulus gets out of it, much similar to the 87 cartoon, and they continue to fight Megatron, and Globulus actually manages to spear Megatron's eye and cause him grave injury, which allows the Royal Guards to all jump on Megatron's back. And Megatron finally, as he realizes he's about ready to be recaptured, makes a stunning move where he just explodes out of the cave in Cobra Law. And a completely battered and broken Megatron we see in the last panel is walking, muttering to himself, "I'm coming for you, Starscream." And that is where the first part of this special for Free Comic Book Day ends. And I tell you what, I'm trying to play catch up with the Transformers just because I know a lot of people have been asking me to review it. So it was nice to have this Free Comic Book Day to kind of give me that background and tie it into the Cobra Commander miniseries. I really like that. I like seeing Cobra Law folks. I love seeing, the past, what was happening on the arc. And yeah, very excited. I'll probably be picking up Transformers on the regular now. I did pick up Transformers issue 6, which is 2 issues behind. I think they're on issue 8 right now. But they have started reprinting the first issues, which I did pick up as well. So I'm going to try to quickly catch up, and then that way be able to give you guys actual weekly updates on Transformers. But with that being said, we will jump on into the second part of this 3-part comic book, and that has to deal with Void Rivals. All right, second part of this 3-part story comic, whatever you want to call it, is Void Rivals, and it is written by Robert Kirkman. Yes, that Robert Kirkman. Artist Lorenzo Del Felici, and colorist Matthias Lopes. I hope I said that right. Maybe it's Lopez. I apologize if I butchered your name. You can butcher mine anytime. Anyway, so we open up with, and I apologize, I know nothing about these characters, so just heads up if I say a lot of names wrong, I apologize. We open with Skuxoid and Slizardo, maybe, arguing about an alloy that Skuxoid had found, and now Slizardo, blaster in hand, seems very, very angry. And Skuxoid basically says, "Hey, I don't like having a laser pointed at my head. And by the way, what are you saying? Can you please talk in a language I understand, because I hate I hate translating in my head." And it was I don't know anything about this Skuxoid character, but I thought that was really funny that he seems like a smooth talker. And it's really funny that he's like still trying to convince this person that wants to shoot him that, "Hey, stop, talk so I understand you." And he does say something like, "I taught you how to speak in basic or English," or whatever they call it in this world. And Slizardo corrects himself and says, sorry, it's kind of hard to speak this way. And Slizardo asks, where is the alloy now? And Skuxoid replies, I don't have it. I told the Quintessons about it, and I think I said that, the Quintessons about it, and when I told them about it, they seemed very, very interested. Then from out of the shadows, Hot Rod appears, and he tells Skuxoid, Hot Rod says, hey, I need to know everything you know about this alloy, because one of my friends is interested in this Cybertronian legend around that, and he thinks it's going to bring peace, and I've got to figure out where it's going on, where my friend's heading, and you're going to tell me everything. And Skuxoid's kind of like, what's up, Slizardo? Why did you bring this Cybertronian into our business? And Slizardo just says, I work for whoever pays me, and the Cybertronian's paying really well. And I thought that was another kind of funny thing that was thrown in there. So Skuxoid basically tells Hot Rod, yep, I'll tell you everything I know. He gives him all the details. And Hot Rod leaves, leaving just Slizardo and Skuxoid talking. And Slizardo asks Skuxoid, what now? And Skuxoid says, I'm going home to my wife and kids. He actually says that, which I thought was really funny. I would like to know more about Skuxoid. And as he's walking away from Slizardo, we see a person or a robot, it looks like. I don't know if it's a Decepticon. I don't know if it's a Quintesson. I don't know. So if somebody can tell me, I think I have a picture up of it. Let me know who that is. But they report back and they say, it is as you suspected, my lord. And that is where the second issue of this 3-part comic ends. And yeah, I don't know. I don't have any frame of reference because I don't read Void Rivals. But I do really like Skuxoid. He's weird. He looks like he's supposed to be a reptile, but he looks like a pig to me. And I know nothing about them. I'm sorry, I'm not really as good on Transformer lore as I am on G.I. Joe. But it was a fun little thing. It was definitely the shortest of the 3 stories, which I appreciated because I didn't know much about it. But yeah, that was fun to read. But now let's jump on to the third part of this 2024 special Free Comic Book Day Energon Universe comic. And that, of course, will be G.I. Joe. Whoa. Mark with Coffee and Toys here. The knucklehead you've been listening to completely forgot to give credit where credit is due when it comes to the writer, artist, and colorist for this particular part of Free Comic Book Day Energon Special number 1. So allow me to jump in and do that lazy bum's work for him. The G.I. Joe portion of this comic is once again written by Joshua Williamson, who has brought us the great miniseries Duke and Cobra Commander. Colorist is Mike Spicer, and the artist is Jason Howard. Now, with that being said, let's jump back and listen to Knucklehead talk some more. Okay, so we are jumping into the third part of this Free Comic Book Day 2024 Energon Universe Issue 1 special. And yeah, G.I. Joe. So let's jump into it. Duke and Hawk are in Hawk's office, and they are arguing. And as you may know from the past, if you listen to any of my reviews, Duke, in his miniseries, does not trust Colonel Hawk whatsoever. And they are arguing about the Baroness. And Duke wants to bring the Baroness into the G.I. Joe fold, as Hawk has told him previously. I'm creating this team called G.I. Joe of specialists that will be able to take on these various things. This secret organization being called Mars, and this group of robots that turn into vehicles. And Duke is asking to bring the Baroness on. And while they're discussing this, we cut back to the Baroness incognito, walking through the city streets of some location, when she is suddenly attacked by 2 masked operatives with these batons or staffs. They're kind of in between those two, either a baton or a staff. And while the fight is going on, we're hearing that conversation between Duke and Hawk saying, hey, we need her because she isn't afraid to get dirty. She will keep us in check. And yeah, she's a bit of a wild card, but that's the reason we need her. And the bottom line is, if we don't have her, someone else will. And that's Duke's reasoning. But then we cut, as she's being attacked by these operatives, Duke actually shows up. So what we were reading was from the past. Duke shows up on a motorcycle, rescues the Baroness, and the whole time she's just like, I hate you, American. I mean, she absolutely detests Duke, or Americans in general. And as they're leaving, we cut back to a large aircraft in the sky being manned by Duke. And you can see him with a radio headset on, and he's talking to someone in the back saying basically, hey, are you going to do this or not? And we find out he's talking to the Baroness, and she's gearing up. She's putting on her gloves. She's checking her weapons. And Duke's telling her, he's like, hey, you will be a challenge for us for this team, but we need you. And, you know, the bottom line is he says to her, what do you say, Baroness? Are you in, or would you rather spend the rest of your life on the run or behind bars? And she replies, and she says, well, when you put it that way, and as you turn the page, we get she says, Yo Joe. And she is wearing a combat style outfit, very similar to her classic Cobra outfit, but it is done in red, white, and blue. No Cobra logo. Instead, we get kind of the Captain America-like star right on the chest. And wow, that was really cool. But the issue is not over yet. We conclude the issue with Colonel Hawk reviewing pictures of Scarlet, Destro, the Dreadnoks, the twins. And as he's reviewing these, two individuals step out of the shadows, and Hawk says, you guys went easy on her. And the two masked operatives appear. They take off their mask, revealing that it is, in fact, Flint and Lady J. And Flint says, well, why are we attacking the Baroness in the first place if the whole point is to get her recruited into G.I. Joe? And we go back to Hawk responding, saying, well, Duke and I don't have the best of relations right now when it comes to trust, and I cannot afford to let Duke know that we're actually building a second team. And with that, the third part of this special comic ends, and evidently something else is going on. And I tell you what, I really enjoyed this. Colonel Hawk is quite the schemer. Colonel Hawk reminds me of two things. He reminds me of the Jugglers. He reminds me as being part of them, if you know who the Jugglers are. And he also reminds me of when I've been reviewing the Marvel comics, the early issues. He reminds me of that Colonel Hawk that keeps a lot of secrets and does a lot of things that could be viewed as underhanded, or at least sketchy maybe. And I really like it. So he's building this other team, and evidently he doesn't want Duke to know about it. The question is, what's that other team going to be? Could that other team wind up being Cobra inadvertently? I don't think it will be, but I am curious where it's going to go, because we know we have Mars, we know we have G.I. Joe getting formed, but we don't have Cobra yet. We have Cobra Law sitting over there to the side, and Cobra Commander's not part of them anymore. So very interesting. Again, he was going through the records of not only the Joes, but what we know as Cobras with Destro and the twins and the Dreadnoks, all of that. And it just makes me even more excited for Scarlet and the Destro miniseries that are coming out next month in June. June's going to be awesome. Yo Joe June, new G.I. Joe comics. But getting ahead of myself, let me know in the comments below what you guys think. Make sure you like the video. You made it this far. Really, really helps out the channel. Tell your friends about the channel too. That also helps a lot. But yeah, fantastic. Free Comic Book Day 2024. Glad I got this issue. Let me know again in the comments what you guys think of what this review was. Has it made you more excited about the Energon universe? I know I'm more excited. Heck, it's managed to convince me to pick up the Transformers comics on the regular. Of course, you guys did. You guys kind of helped with that too. But yeah, very excited. But with that, thanks for checking out the channel. I'll talk to you folks later. I'm Mark. You've been watching Coffee with Toys, and I'll see you later.